All right, guys, welcome. It is good to see you guys. It is Saltco, and things are different here. It is still Sunday. It is still 7 o'clock, but we are in Indiana. We're in Fort Wayne. That's kind of the blessing, I guess, of doing youth group this way. We are able to take youth group on the road. So I am visiting my family in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've been here all weekend, and we're able to do youth group from Indiana. I think that's for me personally, that's a huge blessing that comes with this time. Tonight, we have a crazy night ahead of us. We are going to play Gimkit, and because I've been home, my family has so graciously helped put together a custom Gimkit that will not be embarrassing for me at all. Zero embarrassment will be had. And then we're going to do Fire and Brimstone with my family. So we've got several returning hot sauces and several new ones, including a custom-made Fireball of Death. We'll just call it that. And then tonight we're talking about some of the most important stuff in our country that we've talked about in youth group in a long time. So I hope you guys will stick around. We've got some awesome games ahead of us. Tonight, what I would love for you to go ahead and do is reach out to your friends, get them plugged in to either YouTube. We're also on Facebook. We've got some Zoom games later tonight, including the one at the end of the night that is going to require a full team of 10 to 20 guys and 10 to 20 girls. So make sure you get plugged in to YouTube or Facebook and don't miss it. It's going to be a great night. So without further ado, we are headed over to Gimkit. And so the way that Gimkit works is we are about to launch this game, and then you need to go to www.gimkit.com/play. And then the room code is on your screen. It is 84358. If you can go and get plugged in there, the game is all about me tonight. That sounds selfish to say that. So go ahead and get signed in. We have, 2 people in there right now. How many people are watching right now?
We have
producer Andrea. I can't tell. I did not get that set up because we're on the road today. Lots of things are different.
We have.
But
there's 8 people out right now. So
all right, that's what I'm talking about. So get your friends plugged in. We had an awesome ignition ahead of us. And behind us, ignition happens at 6 Central Time, which was really confusing for me because I'm over here in Eastern Time, and it was, honestly, I did math wrong 4 times today, and it's 7 plus 1, or 6 minus 1, or, stuff like that, and I felt really pathetic in terms of my ability to do math. So, we have 6 people in there right now. We will get started at 7:05 on the dot.
Yeah, 7:05. It's 8:05 here. My bad.
Yeah. At Central Time, Eastern Time. It's very confusing when you're over in the other time zone. The Eastern Time Zone. It's just hard keeping track of what life is like.
Someone's declaring that they're the best Pruitt because of their name.
Yeah, that's probably not the second best Pruitt. I'm going to go with second best Pruitt being, there should be a third best Pruitt. Is the third best Pruitt in there would obviously be Would that be Jake? It's hard to tell. I'm gonna get blasted in the chat for that. But is the third best Pruitt? I'm guessing that's Jake. Second best would be Anna, and then the first is obviously.
Is that just birth order?
That's well, yeah, I think. But I don't know. Maybe it's reverse birth order, or maybe there's an order I'm not aware of. It's 7:05.
Someone wants to know. Wait, where's Ken the cook? Ken, can you kick me out? I gotta respell my name. LOL.
Oh no.
Harrison.
No.
No,
Wait,
Harrison. Too bad.
Well, you can join the game late. Let's get this thing started. It is the first person to get to 500,000. All of the questions were written by my family earlier today. So, the first person is down 2 points. Negative 2 points cumulative in the... -5. Guys, this is not going well. -7. Oh, my goodness. We are off to a hot start. What?
Want me in the Zoom room over there?
Oh, yeah, I can do that. That's a good idea. It would be good if our producer was able to access the Zoom room so that she can, facilitate the entire small group conversation and things like that. Let's see. More. And I'm going to make you a co-host. Do you want to be a co-host, producer?
No, I would love to be.
Okay. Well, you know what? You are now a... I'm now frozen.
-17, -25.
Guys, this is not going well. We are at -25,
-32
points as a lobby. -38. Guys, the good news is there's only 50 questions, and the first time around, if you get them all wrong, they might come back a second time. But at this rate, we're not ever going to get to 500,000, and we're just going to have to move on with the rest of our evening. Oh, a small jump there, -36.
Second best Pruitt in the lead.
I would love to know how many points second best Pruitt has at this point. The Queen just took the lead. Barb right there, one chunky shake also in the running. Ooh, a big move there from Barb and one chunky shake as they leapfrog the second best Pruitt. We, as a lobby though, we're still at -36.
36 now.
-$36. This is not going well. -40. I feel like some of these questions we've talked about at youth group many times. Hey, in the Zoom room, am I moving? Am I live over there, or am I frozen
You're moving.
solid?
You're moving.
Intriguing. It appears that I'm frozen solid on this side, but
Oh, you're fine.
it is what it is.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's a long time from now. All right, we're still at -36. So I have a feeling that maybe we won't ever get to the score we're trying to get to. At -$38, we are in free fall
So
at this
a dawn?
point.
I thought it was
Well, we don't need anyone in the Zoom room right now, so still at -$49. -60, friends, we need to get it together. -62.
Sorry, that's flashing.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. -61. Hey, headed the right direction at least. -54. Guys, I might just have to call this. This is embarrassing, honestly. My family wrote some questions, I guess, that were far too difficult for... Hey, someone got an upgrade. We have our first upgrade purchase this game. One chunky shake. Nice job. Just upgraded money per question to level 2. Wow. This is rough. This is so rough. Oh, guys. This is not good. It's not good.
Carry boy.
Negative.
He did it. Spelled the name wrong, remember?
-63. -69. -78. We are in absolute Gimkit free fall. -66.
I'm about to
All right.
join the skin kit
Just to boost our numbers a little bit,
Uh-huh.
help everyone feel better about their cumulative knowledge on the youth pastor. I'd feel better, but I answered all of the questions today, and I got one wrong, guys. I got one of the questions wrong. We had to edit it because that's just how we do things. We don't let me be wrong about something. We have to change the question. All right, we are at negative 70 as a lobby. We have a cumulative negative $73.
Embarrassing.
I think my family might have just broken Gimkit with the game that we made. Harrison's in the lead.
Harrison, how much money do you have?
Yeah, pause your game real quick, Harrison.
Type us in the YouTube chat.
What is the first place score right now? negative 45. Big money there. That was a 20-point jump. Now we're talking. Negative 38.
He has $8.
He has $8. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's enough to even purchase an upgrade. I think $10 is
yeah, that's why this isn't going anywhere. So you need 10.
Oh my goodness gracious.
$50 you can multiply it.
So there are 9 minutes left in this game. And it's
should I get in there real quick? Help us out?
I don't know. Here's the thing. If we finish with positive money, we're at negative $51 right now. If we finish with positive money, we will do a live Fire and Brimstone when we go back to Saltco. When we get back on campus. Oh, and now we're up to 27. Okay. I see how it is. Up to 10. We're up to negative 10.
Well, Harrison just got upgraded.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Money per question.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They were just sandbagging, waiting for the incentive to show up. We are at negative.
Who would you do live Fire and Brimstone?
Yeah, live Fire and Brimstone, I think would end up being one of our leaders. That's what I'm inclined. That's like what I would lean towards. See, we're back to negative 33. We would bring in a reality TV personality. Negative 52.
It's because they bought some upgrades.
I do have some connections in minor league baseball, so I could get one of my guys I played like college baseball with, and he could come and do Fire and Brimstone with us, and we could talk baseball and Jesus, and I think that would be a good Fire and Brimstone. We're at negative 17. That's just all about the right incentive. Negative 10. Here we go. Break even. Break even is coming right now. $3! We did it. Oh, we're up to 20. Julie is carrying us right now. 29 as a lobby. Julie, the last time she was here, accused me of blowing on my water because it was too spicy. And
that was a good comment.
That was the comment of the night. Pastor Kevin, obviously, when he
shared it
did
at church.
Yeah, he did. He just put it right out there on blast.
Sunday morning.
Sunday, and we're up to $100 now.
On one chunky shake.
Got it.
Who is one chunky shake?
That's usually Austin.
Okay.
But it's it's unclear. Mm-hmm. It could really be anyone. It could be John Green. It could be Harrison.
152.
You know, what if everyone is just 152?
It's rotating.
Making, they all pick a slightly different name every single time.
In the waiting room.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
We'll figure it out when we head over that way. Reminder, if you jump into the Zoom room and the moderator, the producer, asks who you are, it's because we don't recognize your username. And if you let us know who you are, we'll always let you in. Unless you are,
Barb is at negative 14.
Come on, Barb. Hang in there. You're doing great. If you're like a hacker or something like that, obviously, we probably wouldn't let you in. But if you're a hacker and we don't let you in because of, I feel like you're just not a good hacker at that point. That probably could be better than that. But we are up to $208. It is 7:14. We will be ending the game in 6 minutes. 6 minutes left on the clock. I feel like if any one of my family members over here jumped into the game at this point, they would just destroy you guys. Although they didn't know how to buy upgrades. So when we played earlier today, I got to 500,000, and second place was Andrea.
With 18,000.
With 18,000, and then third place had like
Ooh,
Nice.
we're at
1,000.
585.
Yes, we are 1% of a percent of the way there as a lobby, but far from that from an individual. Yeah. My
Barb
best.
said my thing broke. I think I got too many wrong too fast. I just kept clicking until I gave up.
Well, if you start over, it starts you at 0.
So that's better than
Yeah.
negative 14.
Yep, I like it. All right. So when we head over to Fire and Brimstone, in just a couple minutes, we will have some awesome guests with us. We'll have my dad, my brother, and my sister, and all of them will be answering questions. See, all of us are in ministry, and that is super cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me do that. So I'm very excited to talk with them about what God has been doing in their church. And we completely broke Zoom now. So, there we go.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. We are technological wizards. Not
wizards?
quite that far. Tech wizards, but technological is the full word. So, anyway, score update: 2,412 as a lobby. Julie Hart still in first.
What are we capping it at now?
We're gonna kill it on time because there's no way we're making it to 500,000 because the lobby was negative for the first 10 minutes of the game.
Hey, Julie, how much money do you have? Or one chunky shake?
She just got passed though.
Yeah.
We gotta let them stay focused.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Let's see. We've got it's 7:17. If anyone wants to quickly jump into the Zoom room, I will help you with a couple of questions to give you a little last minute boost. So it'll be the first person that jumps into the waiting room. I will answer 3 questions for you. Unless you are one chunky shake or Julie. Sorry, guys. Julie back into first. Let me know if anyone jumps over there. I don't know if I would even get it right. Oh, wait, I didn't get any questions wrong earlier today. All the questions are about me. How could I get them wrong, right? Right?
Right.
You'd be surprised.
It is... We are at 5,000, which puts us at officially 1% of our goal as a lobby. It is 7:17. No one wanted the free 3 correct answers, huh?
I think they all are just
fine.
Done.
Yeah.
They're Dawn's iPhone.
Don's iPhone?
That's what it says.
Don's iPhone. Talk in the
chat. Who are you?
The room chat in
or the
Zoom
YouTubes.
or YouTube, and let us know who you are. Don. Who would Don be? Don.
Austin Western says, "Darn, son of a gun." Playing dirty, I see.
Julie blurred him out in the lobby there. You can see on the YouTube feed.
Don's iPhone has left.
Don's iPhone left. Sorry, Don's iPhone. $6,905. We are at 7:18. I'm guessing we've got like 70 seconds left. That's what I'm going with. Julie in first. Feedback after this to see what.
Also, I want to know which of the Pruitts is the second, first, and best.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have Jake jump into the Zoom room right now, immediately. If Jake could jump into the Zoom room, we need to know the order of the Pruitts, as well as there's less than a minute left in Gimkit. So 7:19. Oh, one chunky shake blurring Julie right at the buzzer. It's gonna be close. 7:19, 10,000 as a lobby. Julie holding on for dear life to that. Make sure we end the game right at 7:20. It's that button at the top right. Yep. It is 7:19, 11,000 as a lobby. It is getting close. 7:19, 11,684. Now, the last time we ended a game early.
It's 20.
There it is, and the game. Here we go. Best Pruitt in third. One Chunky Shake in second. And Julie in first with $6,331. Harrison in fourth. I can't see who's in fifth right there. Let's get a scroll in there. The third best Pruitt. And then second best Pruitt. So it does seem that the best Pruitt did come out on top. So I think that speaks to the quality of the Pruitts, it would seem. But I would love to hear from Jake in the chat, or the other Pruitts are obviously there as well. Let us know who is the best Pruitt. I'm sure that will cause no division in the Pruitt family. All right, so it is time for Fire and Brimstone. I would love to just introduce the players tonight really quick. If you guys could come on over. I'm going to do a little rolly roll. I got a rolly chair, guys. This is great. First up, we've got my brother, Neil. Neil is, the camera is this one right here. You're looking right there.
That one?
Yep. It's confusing because Zoom is on this side, but
there's a lot going on here.
It's a lot going on,
awesome.
Yeah. Neil is a youth pastor in Fort Wayne. How long have you been a youth pastor now?
Officially about 8 months.
8 months? And you've been at that church for years, right?
Yeah. Going on 4 years now.
Yeah. So Neil is awesome. I'm excited to see him cry tonight. Get out of here.
Okay.
It's good to see you. Next up is my sister, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Elizabeth, it's right there.
Wow,
Yep,
this is
throwing
so
everyone off with the camera. Elizabeth is the third child. She is my younger sister.
Yes.
And you currently serve at Harvest. And what do you do?
I am an assistant children's director at Harvest.
Love it.
Yes.
Awesome. And you like spicy food.
Yes.
That was so convincing.
I'm so excited.
All right, last
Okay.
up is Dad. Dad spoke at Saltco. How long ago was that, Dad?
That was about January, February.
Yeah, it was before the lockdown.
Yeah, right before the lockdown. I was coming back from some trip.
So, one of those trips to
Yeah.
somewhere. And
Am I cut off on that?
No.
not
This is the camera right here,
Yeah,
right there.
okay, so
If you
that
want
makes
to
sense.
see what it looks like, it's over here on the
I really don't
screen.
want to.
Yeah, it's disorienting. You just gotta stay locked in. Stay locked
Hi, everybody.
in.
It's great to be here.
Are you a spicy food person?
You had to pay me to get in this.
Yeah, I did. He was bribed with free Chick-fil-A, and I'm giving him day-old sauce-covered Chick-fil-A. So the way we're doing it tonight is a little bit different than we did 2 weeks ago. So we are going to be drawing names out of a hat. As you can see here, we got a very official-looking hat. It looks like a hat. There are 10 sauces tonight, and whoever's name gets drawn out with sauce number 1 gets the least spicy sauce. So, do you guys want to go first or towards the end? That was a hypothetical question because obviously you want to go first. Right? Yeah, there we go.
First.
We're a little bit slow on the uptake over here, guys, but it's fine. It's fine. We're doing good. So, the nuggets are from Chick-fil-A. I will be participating in every single round. So, help. All right. First up, we need to welcome back. I looked and I almost just pulled one out that I knew who it was. We need Dad to come back over.
Lucky.
Dad getting sauce number 1. Sauce number 1 is actually zesty buffalo sauce from Chick-fil-A. So this is like a warm up. This is barely a.
Austin says, "Yo, is the spicy water still in the challenge?"
It is. It's there. It is real. So, Dad, we've got our Chick-fil-A nuggets, as you can see right here. They're warm. Wow, how did that happen? Was that?
I put them in the oven.
That was producer Andrea's doing. So you're gonna take a nugget, and this one's a dunk. This is just a straight up. We'll do some more significantly hotter sauces in a second, but. So as you go to eat the nugget, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And you want to answer like honestly, truthfully, but also kind of quickly, you know.
Before I...
As it's going into your mouth, I will ask you the question.
Right.
Yeah. So here we go. Zesty Buffalo. What are you excited about opening back up? You know, we've just been locked down. What are the things you're most excited about?
I'm hoping that they will start playing baseball again. Missing baseball.
Yeah. We're We're a big baseball family.
Spicy.
And we've been missing that a lot. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What favorite team?
Yeah, I'm a Cardinal fan. Sorry, all you Chicago people, but I'm a Cardinal fan all my life. And so, missing that. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to do it. So
Yeah,
they're fighting about
money. Yeah, it seems like a very odd thing to be fighting about right now, but you
does.
know.
You think they just want to play.
Yeah.
But, all right, am I
All
done?
right, you're done.
I
Get
passed
out of
that
here.
round.
You passed the first round. Let's get someone else in
You're
here.
already getting those jokes at you on the YouTube
Gosh,
comment.
what are people saying?
Missy says it's too early. Don't struggle yet. Austin says, "Dang, that was quick."
All right, we got
Julie-
Neil.
Yeah.
Julie wants to know if the lack of tolerance for spicy food will run in the family.
We're about to find out. We are about to find out. Neil, welcome. You heard the rules when Dad was up here. This sauce number 2. Can you open this for me? I'm struggling.
Are you? His hands are shaking everywhere.
Hey, there's certain things that don't come across on TV. It looks fine. No one knows that my hands are shaking. I'm fine. All right, so this is actually creamy, spicy sriracha, also from Chick-fil-A. So this is sauce number 2. Very easy. Piece of cake to dunk.
Yep.
This one is a full dunk.
Okay.
So, Neil, again, as you go to eat it, I'm going to ask you a question. You
Okay.
can go ahead. Yeah,
All right.
just cheers. So share an embarrassing memory that you have with me. Either of me or of you, yeah.
Okay. I think one of them. Actually, by the way, I was very impressed with your announcing voice as you were wrapping up the game there.
I learned that
It took me back to when we would play Mint Baseball, and there's actually 2 stories that go along with this. So we'd play this game.
To keep it brief.
Mint Baseball. Basically, it was an abbreviated form of baseball on a basketball court with tennis balls and gloves. Both of us would announce these games as we play, and rather than the awesome announcer voice that Ken had on display earlier, it was more of like a deep to center field. And one time, when there was one of these deep fly balls directly over the basketball hoop, I was hitting. I hit it over the hoop. Ken turns around and runs smack into the pole. And I mean, it's just like doing, and like a cartoon. He just falls flat on his back.
Oh, man.
But it was even better with the announcing built in there. It was like, oh my gosh, he hits a long ball, bing! And so, yeah, it was
That's
fun.
great.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
great.
good.
Get out of
All
here.
right.
Yeah, that was. I do want to make it clear that was, one of those pre-puberty voices, and my voice definitely doesn't crack anymore. All right, number 3. That was an intentional voice crack. Let it be known, intentional voice crack there. All right, number 3, our third hot sauce of the day. We bringing Dad back up. Dad is on his way back to the front. All right, Dad. This is we had this last, 2 weeks ago now. I should shake it. This is a hot buffalo sauce. This is about where the tears started last time for me. Do you want to pour it on your nugget, or do you want to,
Whatever you recommend.
Here's what I recommend. This works really well. You just go really easy, just a nice little, and you got to get a substantial amount on there. Because this one's still not that hot. I just cry because I'm a wimp.
Oops.
That's great. Yep.
That's substantial right there.
We're out of buffalo sauce. It's all. I just want to. Well, I'll show you guys in a second. His nugget is dripping. So, Dad, go ahead. If yeah, it was that bad. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I think flames from my mouth. And why? I don't know why, but that's what I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah. Wouldn't be like a automatic world. Oh, there's sauce on everywhere.
Dripping.
Help. So, oh yes. So just to shoot flames out of your mouth like Bowser, or like a dragon or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Or I guess Spicy Mario is like that too. He does like this little
It's
jig
got some
thing.
afterburner on it.
It does- We are just getting warmed up. I love that. All right. Dad, thank you. You're good. You're good. Go get some water. There's some water right down there. It does run in the family. All right. Question number... Did I tell you guys that we're all doing number 10?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make
I
sure.
don't know how we're going to finish that, but...
Well, it'll be a... Well, I'm not picking that one. Elizabeth is up. It was Dad again. We can't just give him torture like that. All right, Elizabeth, we've got our nuggets here.
Okay.
Elizabeth, what's your favorite color? This is not... Yeah, it's just a...
You guys.
While I'm shaking the next sauce, you know.
Yellow is the best color of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was profound.
I know.
All right, this is hot buffalo.
Huh.
Again, it's a little poor, but go easy. You know, it kind of. This is a thinner sauce.
Okay.
This is a.
What does that mean?
This is Frank's.
So more.
So it's not. Yeah, more is better.
Okay.
More is better.
I don't believe.
More is better.
Douse it.
See, guys, we're doing like substantial. This is a substantial.
Oh, there's
community.
fights about the best color in the chat.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I would love to hear some arguments if anyone wants to throw some out there about why yellow is inferior to orange, for example.
No.
All right, Elizabeth, so as you eat, I'm going to ask you a question. Go for it and just, answer honestly.
Okay.
What are you currently binge watching?
Well,
Oh. What are you currently binge watching, Elizabeth?
well, I just finished a show. But I don't remember what it was. But I routinely make my way through the office.
Okay.
So that's what. Yeah.
We'll go with The Office. Is that's what we're going with?
Yeah.
Here? All right.
Can I go down
On
my
your way
tears?
to the water, right there.
Thank you.
If you guys could grab these sauces just to clear some more space as we move down the list. All right, we are through four people, 4 sauces. Those 2 are done as well. But you could, maybe take a towel to the puddle on this plate. Hold on. This is he just went for it with the sauce, and it's everywhere. All right. Next up, we've got Elizabeth.
Again?
Elizabeth is coming right back up.
Back to back.
All right, so Elizabeth, this one's gonna require a little bit. This is like the same brand,
Okay.
but it's their next sauce up. Okay, so it's
Okay.
same
All right.
ballpark, a little more burn. Okay.
That's great. I love the burn. Feel the burn.
And this one is like this is a hot sauce. This is not a wing sauce. This is a hot sauce. So you gotta shake it out.
Okay.
Shake it off. Shake it off. You really gotta, and get a good amount on there. You see what I've got on mine.
All right. Is that
There you
good?
go. That's good.
It's
That'll do.
Okay.
All right. Number 5. You are on a deserted island. What 3 things are you bringing?
Not hot sauce.
Okay. You're up to 4 things now.
Oh, it burns. I would definitely bring my Bible because
Okay.
Jesus. I would bring probably the nugget went flying. I would probably bring some water.
Okay. Bible and water. Those are actually 2 good things.
Thank you.
What would be the 3rd thing?
I actually really love Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna love it as much after tonight, but
Yeah.
I would bring some Chick-fil-A.
Can someone pour me a water?
No.
On my LaCroix.
No. So
Wow.
you would bring
My tongue is on
Chick-fil-A.
fire.
You would bring Chick-fil-A, water in your Bible. That's actually a food source, a water source, and spiritual nourishment.
Food and water.
So
Yeah.
I really like that answer, Elizabeth.
Thank
That's
you.
really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Don't pick my name again. For a
Okay,
little
well-
while.
You will.
Wow, that one really
that's
sneaks
nice.
up on you. We did get some new sauces. The next 2 sauces are brand new. And we need Neil coming back up here.
Yeah.
This one really has a surprising punch to it. This is Gringo Bandito.
That sounds exciting.
So,
Let's say the last one I had was delicious.
yeah, well, you got one of the first ones, one of the early
Yeah.
ones. So,
Looking forward to this one.
This is number 6, and also a hot sauce. So you gotta shake it out. You gotta shake it off. I did that joke already.
Yep.
Yeah, they said you should go on The Voice after you did that.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Oh, I got a little too much, but that's actually not that bad of an amount.
You do a duet with Taylor. Before
Taylor,
I
yeah,
got some
you're
on that.
good. All right,
This will be good.
here you go.
All right.
Number 7. Why is your hair that way?
Okay. So I currently have a mullet.
Oh,
That's delicious. There is some heat coming in at the end, but so my youth group as well, we were basically we played Never Have I Ever,
okay.
and I lost, and it was whoever lost had to get whatever haircut the other person told them they had to get, and so
Okay.
here I am with a mullet.
What's your how long is it staying? And
About another 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah,
That's
we're
Are we
almost-
gonna see the mullet or is the hat
I
still
did
on?
take it
Oh,
off.
you
I
did. I
think
missed
that
it.
I
Yeah.
think
missed
that
it.
the hat should stay off the
All
rest of the
right,
evening.
for the rest of the video.
I think so.
Okay.
I really do.
That's fine.
I think
That was. Can I do another one?
just take it
Can
with
I-
you.
so-
Just take it with you. That's fine. All right, guys. I thought it was bad enough last week when Pastor Kevin just demolished me. Now my family is demolishing me. I need you guys to get me some sauces that will demolish everyone. Like anyone and everyone will be brought to tears. That's what I need. Send me some links to producer Andrea, and we will get them from Amazon or wherever you get that kind of stuff. All right, we've got 3 left.
So,
Or, well, we have 4 left, but we have 3 names left. We need Dad coming back up.
Yes, Dad.
And Dad, this is your last name in the hat, so you've
Wow.
only got 2 more chicken nuggets.
I'm gonna survive.
Buckle up.
we'll see.
This is Melinda's.
She's a nice lady.
Well, you might not think so. After
We'll see. We'll see about that.
we're done here. We're just going to open it.
Oh.
This is a habanero wing sauce, which is
Ooh.
just it's getting up there now, right? It's not that bad, but I just be careful with it because I took the sauce dispensing device off entirely. So I trust you. I believe in your ability
Just
to.
don't do what you did last time.
Julie's claiming that this is dad abuse.
Oh.
All right, Dad. What do you do now, first of all, and how did you get into ministry? Like, what got you to where you are today?
Mm-hmm. So,
Oh.
this might get me out of it. So I was an attorney,
Okay.
and served a lot of. Well, I kind of gave some of this testimony when I was with the group, and so wanted to help people respond to conflict in a biblical way, which is a little bit different from the way we do it in court. In terms of focusing on relationships, and so we started providing resources to people to help them respond to conflict in a way that builds relationship rather than diminishes relationship. And so that's what I'm doing, and still have my law license in Illinois, but haven't used it in several years.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, Peace Fire is an awesome ministry, and I look forward to having you back to speak again. But I won't feed you hot sauce
I appreciate
the
that.
next time you come back. All right, we got 2 names left in the hat. These last 2 are real butt kickers, and then the last one we just made up. So we'll see if it's even hot. We need Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Elizabeth getting number 8 instead of number 9.
Hey, the Lord is good.
Well, after you hear this question, you know, just buckle up. Okay. All right. This is a.
I've recovered. Have you recovered from the one you just did? I feel good now. You're doing great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. This one's really red. It's really
It
red.
is really red. I don't know.
It's
If,
very
Vibrant. I
looking.
know it.
I don't know if you can capture that on the YouTubes, but
Okay.
it is a like.
Oh, it's Texas Pete.
It is Texas Pete. I got this one especially for you.
Thank
Hot or
you.
hot sauce?
All right.
Go ahead.
This
Yeah,
is
she just
stubborn.
went for it.
Okay.
Who is your favorite
No!
child or
Oh.
sibling?
Oh.
Who's your favorite sibling?
Great question.
Well, that one burns in the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys are all great.
Yeah, we need a favorite. Though. We really need a favorite.
So we have another brother, Ben.
Oh, come on.
He's pretty
You
awesome.
would pick the one who's not here.
Yeah. He's never made me eat hot sauce, in front of camera.
That's great.
So
So
right
you're
now,
telling me that I'm not
right
your
now,
favorite.
I mean, I love you, but you're kind of low on the totem pole.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here.
All right.
All right, Neil. Neil coming back up. Our last name here. Whew. All right. This is Melinda's. Yes. This is our ghost pepper sauce. This one made me cry last week. I almost died. I don't want to.
Sorry. It's your own fault. It's just like the way it comes out.
It's
like,
got a very,
I'm gonna
it's
kill
got
you.
a very kloopy, ominous vibe. This sauce.
It's kind of like blood, just like.
All right, so Bill, go ahead. What is one thing that God has taught you during shelter in place?
There it is. I was waiting for it.
It's
A
there.
little delayed.
It's there.
It's a nice flavor though. At the same time, we used the same bottle. I mean, Lord taught me a lot in quarantine.
Oh,
But
he's teaching me things right now.
yeah. To be fair, I mean, I've only had to do 3 of these, so you had like the build up. But the Lord has taught me a lot about waiting and what it looks like to serve and like from a distance, whether that's like our kids or our leaders or just the people around us and our neighbors, checking in on people. But there's an element of waiting that happens whether it's in ministry or just like walking by faith. Waiting patiently is a place of power, and that is like really diving deep into being willing to be patient. Is something that I've really had to wrestle with, and Lord's taught me a lot about that. So
That's great.
also, the longer I talk, I think the more it burns. So
Well, you're staying right
is,
here.
Patience is.
Everyone is
huge.
everyone is coming right back over here.
Oh,
so
this looks delightful.
this
I'm gonna scoot
this
over.
is a dunker. Yeah, everyone's coming back. So grab your nugget of destiny. And
the nugget of destiny.
what we did with this one is we took Melinda's, and then we got a
Yeah, Elizabeth want to come behind Ken.
We got a,
So this.
Go back.
yeah.
What we just had.
What we just had, the hottest one, and we added in several just powdered spices.
Yeah, head is cut off.
That thank you, producer, keeping us honest.
There you go.
Several
Sounds good.
really hot dry rubs. Like, anyway, here we go. Just go for it.
All right.
And then I'll ask you guys a question.
I did too much.
No, you got to get a lot.
That's saucy.
Ah,
I
wow.
dropped it. Oh,
Oh, he got his fingers in there.
Cassidy is Neil's wife, my sister-in-law. She's coming over because she loves spicy food.
I
And that-
just tried it from afar.
The entertainment value of her being on here would have been 0 because she would have just looked at me and been like, "Are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you gonna
Plain-
survive?"
plain sauce.
I'm just gonna fall on coke.
She has
Oh.
rolled her chicken nugget in the death sauce. Here we go, friends. It's been Dad already. Dad already went. Here we go.
Oh, it's not that bad.
it'll come.
The key is getting the chicken nugget to spread out in your mouth.
Mm.
And get the sauce back and down as quickly as possible.
My face just started sweating.
That's good.
So, you have one chance to encourage students. What would you say?
Let's go first.
I'll go first. I have been really encouraged
Did you
by...
eat the chicken nugget?
I did. Psalm 63, verse 3 says, "Your steadfast love, O Lord, is better than life, so I will praise you." I just want to encourage you guys that his love and a relationship with him is better than any good thing in your life. Better than your dream job, better than a relationship, better than hot sauce, Chick-fil-A. It's better than all the good things. So, don't forget that. Keep pursuing him.
I just found another pocket of sauce. I had to eat something.
Yeah, it burns now.
Yeah.
My one encouragement would be just to continue, and if you're not already, but to continue to just seek the Lord. And that looks a lot of different ways. I mean, that is reading, that is praying, but most importantly, like, get in your word, because that truth. I was talking to somebody about this morning. Like, we just read through the book of Matthew as a group, and we just asked people to share where they saw the gospel in the book of Matthew, and everybody had a different example of where the gospel was shared in Matthew. And that was powerful to us, because we saw that no matter what relationship, whatever context we have in our relationships with people, we can always share the gospel, because it comes in different contexts. But the Lord always presents His gospel to us. So I encourage you to read and ask the Lord what He wants you to show you, because it's going to be relevant to your life, and it's going to be relevant to the lives of the people around you. So
That was good.
That was good. Thanks. Papa.
Yeah, I would say that, I feel like I'm smiling right now, but I can't tell. One of the things when you have a walk with God, that He wants to love people through you. And during this time when there's some crazy things going on in our country, there's two things that I remember that give me encouragement during this time, and how to respond to people that might disagree with me, or that I might disagree with, and that is two verses out of Romans chapter 12. Verse 18 says to pursue peace with all people, and that we're called to pursue peace with all people. That it's not okay to not pursue peace with somebody just because we disagree, or that they don't like us, or I don't like them. I'm called to pursue peace with them. As much as it lies within me, that verse says, as much as it lies within you, pursue peace with all people. Second thing, in verse 21 of that chapter, it says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And to me that means if someone is doing something that I might disagree with, or they have a view that I disagree with, the way to build relationship with them is not to disagree with them or tell them what a bad person they are because they don't understand things the way I do. It is to do good to them. So my prayer is, Lord, what do you want me to do to bless them? What does it look like to do good to them? And in doing that, the Lord does amazing things through His people.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
You brought
That's
me to
great.
tears,
Good job.
Dad.
That's great,
Hey, you
guys.
just made my throat hurt.
Guys, make some noise in the chat for my family, my brother, my sister,
Bye,
my dad.
guys.
See ya. It was fun.
For being
Yes.
willing to come on here, laugh at themselves, laugh at me. So, transition out of
You want
that.
some?
No, I'm good. I'm about to go cut my tongue out and hope for the best. We are going to play a Zoom game. We're going to play a Zoom game, and producer Andre is going to take over.
Okay.
And are we all set and ready to go over there on the Zooms?
Let me see here.
So head to Zoom, click the link. We will get you plugged in, ready to go. You'll be able to see the stuff that's happening. And there we go. You want to turn that to live on the sidekick. Yeah, on your side. Bear with us, guys. We're in a new space, so we're getting there as fast as we can. Oh my goodness, guys! Seriously, did we get any? Oh, that's good enough. That'll work. I'll come over there and blow it up. But we're playing first one up. You need to get into the Zoom room. You'll get admitted. Again, we kick you out, and then you have to come back in. First person to show up with the item that shows up on the screen gets to win for that round. And really, this is just to buy us some time. It's a ton of fun. I'm going to go drink some milk and eat some ice cream. I'll be right back. Producer Andrea, are you all set, ready to go?
If they bear with me, I will be, because I have a lot of things happening right now.
All right.
I have a computer in one hand and a mouse.
What can I do to help?
No, this is great.
All right.
Hi, guys. I'm going to stand off to the side. You might not see me, because I have a computer over here. Okay.
Yeah.
There's just a lot.
Yeah.
All right, friends. You can see my top button.
There it is. I'm going to switch it over to Zoom.
Okay, we have Barb and Missy in the Zoom. We need some more friends in the Zoom so we can play. First one up.
Let's try this one. Oh, there it is.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, so head over to Zoom. You guys got this. I'll be right back.
Cool. Okay, I'm waiting for more people to get in here. We need... I know Harrison is on the YouTube.
Just some water.
Here's my top button for you guys to look at while we wait.
Huh?
Got some more time. I can tell jokes, if we aren't going to get in the Zoom. That's the one thing we can do. Alright. Julie, it won't let you join. Try again. I'll let you in from the waiting room. Thanks. Okay, Julie, I got you. Alright. We will start in 1 minute. So 7:53. If you aren't in the Zoom room by then, you can join after. But we will start in 1 minute as Ken comes back down the stairs from fixing his mouth. He is here. You ready to host?
I can do this. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
He's
I
here.
love it.
I keep telling him we need to do this post message,
That's for, cowards or something. Can I hear 1 minute, or are we ready? You just tell me.
We have Barb, Julie, and Missy
Oh, wow.
in the room.
Yeah, I got it. I'm good, guys. I'm alive.
So I'm ready to go when you are. We can go with this amount of people. We can go with more.
All right, we are getting behind schedule a little bit, so let's
Kick
we'll
her
go
off.
ahead and let's go ahead and
Spin that wheel.
spin that wheel.
Yeah.
First one up. You got one ready to go over there?
Yeah.
Here we go. We are looking for the first to bring us a board game, and remember, you have to raise your hand in the chat. We need a board game.
Barb is off. Missy's staring blankly.
Looking for a board game. I'm gonna spotlight that right there. All my board games are stuck. I feel like that's an excuse.
So we have no board games. Julie, we don't have a camera for you.
No, guys, we gotta step our game up here. We're gonna
Barb has her hand raised.
There we go. We got somebody.
Barb, unmute yourself. Tell us what you have in your hand right there.
Oh.
The only thing I could find is a puzzle. I got rid of all my other things. Does that count?
I'm having a hard time counting a puzzle as a board game. What do you think, producer?
I think that's fine, considering no one else has one.
Fair enough. Yeah, no one
if
else.
she's the
put
one
anything
that
out there,
ran to get something.
Okay, we're going with a puzzle. A puzzle is now a board game. Apparently, everything makes sense. All right. let's see. I'm gonna unspotlight. Oh no! Wow, guys, it came back. It came back. I'll be fine. I'm fine. This is fine.
Harrison's it coming in?
All right. Oh yeah, let him in. Get him in there. That's what I'm talking about.
He's here.
We are ready to go. Thank you, Missy. I'm sure that word of encouragement was for me and not to everyone else who's playing this game.
Okay, ready?
All right, we're ready. Let's do it. We need a thing of ketchup. We need some ketchup. First person to bring up ketchup.
Jake Pruitt's being added in.
Get in here, Jake. Let's go. We need ketchup. And remember, you have to raise your hand to get into the game, or to mark your spot in the game. Ketchup was our item. Ketchup. Anybody? Ketchup. We need a hand. We need a hand. Nobody got ketchup.
Oh, Barb.
Barb again. Let's go. Barb, did you bring us mustard? Because I feel like that would be in the same like puzzle, board game, condiment, ketchup category.
You gotta mute yourself, Barb. Let us know.
It is ketchup, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I can't see it on my screen, so that's great. Nice job. I think Artie and Jordan have the ketchup. Well, why are they hogging the ketchup, Missy? That's not cool. All right, let's spin this. We're gonna do two more.
This wheel.
All right, here we go. Let's get it.
Ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
We need the first person to bring us a Q-tip. A Q-tip. We need a Q-tip brought up on this side. Anyone. First person.
Oh, Harrison.
Harrison, well done. Well done, Harrison. Is your Zoom muted? Yes?
No, I can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go. Now we're good. That's what. So Harrison, you've got the Q-tip.
Missy has two up her nose right now.
What? I love that. Oh my gosh. It doesn't really surprise me though. Harrison, you're going back to baseball.
Yeah, next tournament is our first tournament. Next week is our first tournament in Gary, Indiana. So
That's awesome. That is super cool. I can't wait to get out to some baseball games hopefully this summer. I'm pumped for that. That'll be great. All right, do we have one more?
Yeah.
We got one more? Let's do
We
one
can
more
do
and then
one
we'll come
more.
back and play another round of Zoom games later after the message. We've got a game of Family Feud ready to go tonight. That will be a good one. All right, we need the first person to bring us a CD, like a physical CD. The ones that are used for music. Those ones. Yes.
Oh, Harrison.
Harrison back first. He's got a whole album of things there. Love it. What CD did you bring us, Harrison?
When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish.
Nice.
Oh, Billie Eilish. Good stuff.
Billie Eilish.
I don't think that's how you say it. I could be wrong, though. My mouth is on fire. My brain doesn't work. It's all fine. All right, guys. I have recovered. Really, the purpose of this game was to give me like 5 minutes so I could gather myself. So we are headed back out to YouTube. Wow, I thought I was good.
You'll be fine.
And we'll be good to go here. So, what we're going to do here for the next couple minutes is talk about one of the most important things that we are facing as a society right now, right? So this topic, the topic of race, the topic of racism in America, in our culture, is incredibly important. It is the thing that is on the forefront of all of the conversations right now, right? And so how, as a Christ follower, do we respond to that? What does that look like as we follow Christ? How does he engage with this topic of discrimination, this topic of racism? So before I get into the bulk of my message tonight, I just want to encourage you guys, if you missed church this morning, if you missed Sunday morning worship at Ginger Creek, you need to go at the very least, go listen to Pastor Kevin's message, because it was an awesome message on how Jesus values human beings, how he values each and every human being. And so, how does that call us as Christ followers to respond in the way that we value the people in our communities that are experiencing what they're experiencing right now, right? And so go listen to that, because Pastor Kevin does an amazing job unpacking some of the historical issues, some of the current cultural issues, as well as just sharing what Christ said, what Christ taught, and how he acted in the light in the world that he was in, which was filled with discrimination. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But before I dive in tonight, I want to let you guys know my 3 things that I think are super important as we talk about this, right? The first is that racism is evil, right? Discrimination is evil. To look at another human being and to say that they are less than someone else is evil, right? So particularly as we're obviously talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, right? To look at an African American and either through cultural stigma, through things that are ingrained within us, to think differently or less about a black person or an African American or any other person of color is evil. That is not how God intended the world to function. That is a product of sin. It is a product of the pain that is in the world as a result of the fall, right? That's the first thing I would say, okay? The first thing is that racism is evil. The second thing, though, is that protesting is a great thing, but riots and violence and harming other human beings as a result of that is also wrong. That is also failure as human beings to love and to respect the people around us, right? So breaking in, looting, and certainly some of the physical violence towards other people, right? We obviously see those things, and we know and understand that those things are wrong. And then the third thing that I need you guys to understand before I get started tonight is that police officers are human beings too, all right? Police officers are human beings. They are generally amazing, amazing people. So many police officers that I know are amazing people. And sometimes they find themselves in the midst of really hard situations. Some some awful stuff has happened, right? Some horrific stuff has happened these last 2 weeks, right? But just remember, in the midst of whatever social justice or criminal reform or however you feel about those things, remember we're also talking about human beings, right? There's a certain camp that wants to villainize the entire police institution, right? And there's another group of people that wants to villainize the entire Black Lives Matter movement, right? But remember, we're talking about human beings. We are talking about people made in the image of God. So those are the 3 things. Before we dive in tonight, I need you guys to understand. I need you guys to walk with me the rest of this night knowing those 3 things. Because those are 3 things that I care really highly about. I am a firm ally and supporter of the people in our community, the Black people, the African American people, the other people of color who experience racism on a frequent, if not daily basis. But I'm also not a supporter of riots, of damage to property or to other people. But also remember, both sides, we're talking about human beings. Whatever the injustices around us are, we are always talking about human beings and how we as Christ followers need to treat them. All right, so I've said my intro, covered my bases. I'm going to dive in, right? Because this is a really touchy, delicate subject. I needed you guys to be on the same page with me about those three things. All right. For me personally, the first time that I experienced racism, it wasn't me. I didn't experience it, but the first time that I saw it firsthand, I was driving in a car with my roommates at the time. Nafis, my African-American friend, was in the car, the passenger seat next to me, and my other two roommates, Tim and Patrick, were in the back seat, right? So I'm driving the car, and our house is, just another block, and we had a back alley to get into it, right? And so I turn the car onto the street that connects to our back alley, and I don't use a signal because we're like 30 feet from our house. So I'm like, I'm there. I should have used a signal. Didn't use a turn signal. There's a cop behind us, turns on his lights, pulls us over in the alley that connects to our house, right? So that's how close to home we were. He comes up, I tell him who I am, that I literally live in this house right here, and I have the ID for it, right? My ID's got my address on it. That's the address that's right there. He's like, that's cool. And then his partner comes over to the other side and asks my black roommate to roll down his window and present identification. Okay? He rolls down his window, and at that point, I'm like, he's not even driving the car. I'm driving the car. Why do you need his ID? And you didn't ask for my other two roommates who are sitting back here. You didn't ask for their IDs. Just asked for my black friend's ID, right? He ends up being taken out of the car and being searched because he fit the description of someone in the area that they were looking for, right? Doesn't search anyone else in the car, just searches my roommate. And he's super cool about it, right? He's like, it's fine, it's not a big deal. But that, for me, made this idea of racism real, right? That because my roommate was a black man at 10 o'clock at night in a car, that they had reasonable cause to pull us over, and then he fit the description of someone else that was a black man, so he gets searched, and the rest of us are just sitting there. That was the first time that I experienced something like that, and I was like, wow, this is real. People go through this every single day, and as Pastor Kevin shared earlier today, again, go watch his message, guys. The conversations that my parents had with me growing up on how to grow up, how to function as a human being, were things like be respectful to the people around you, put money in your savings account as you're growing up, study hard at school. The conversations that African American families are having with their sons is how to not get shot and killed by the police. Now, whether you think that is fair or unfair, that's the reality. Whether you think that's actually happening or you think it's fake, there are people I have talked to since this has started that have expressed the same thing that they expressed to Pastor Kevin. They've expressed it to me, that they are worried for their sons. They are worried for the men in their community if they're going to come back alive. Now, that in itself is a picture of what it means for me when I think about this idea of white privilege. I never had to even consider how to not get shot and killed on my way home. If I'm driving home at 10 o'clock, how do I behave myself if I get stopped by the police? That was not even something that has ever crossed my mind. But that's the world that our black friends live in. And so we're talking about this concept of racism. And I want to unpack as much as I can for you tonight. We're a little bit behind. We might run over a little bit tonight, but bear with me because there is power in the gospel. There is power in the way that Christ lived, the way that he treated people, the way that he loved people. And it will change our world if we will live like Christ. So stay with me tonight. We think a lot of times when I used to think of racism, I used to think of lynchings, right? I used to think of lynchings in the Deep South. I used to think of places that were far away from where I lived. And I used to think about really horrible, egregious acts. But the reality is that racism boils down to this idea of values and how you think of yourself. So let me explain, right? Racism is defined as a belief that inherent differences among the various human racial groups determine cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. In other words, it's the idea that because a person is a certain race, they have a different value than you. Because a person is a different race, or is from a different place, or talks differently, or looks differently, that they have a different value than I do. So racism, then, when you boil it down, is less about the particular qualities or tendencies of any certain race and more about the assumption that whatever you are is better or superior. It's the simple feeling that you get in your mind or your heart when you see someone, whether they're black or Asian or poorly dressed or homeless or goth or gay or whatever, and you think to yourself something along the lines of, if they were more like me, then things would be better. If they would just behave this way, if they would change this thing about themselves, they would be better off. It's the pride you feel when you see a social media post that reaffirms educated and wealthy people like you and blames any other group for their lack of effort. It's the idea that if people would just try as hard as you, or if they were just as committed as you, or if they worked as hard as you, then the world would be better. Racism is all about making assumptions about any group of people because of how you imagine they compare to you or people like you. So you see, I may not have been racist against black people because I was never around them growing up, but I absolutely compared other groups of people to myself. And you know what? I always seemed to come out on top, right? I always seemed to be the person that was looking better, smarter, stronger, or more just a betterer, right? So in the same way, while most of you probably don't consider yourselves to be racist, we are all guilty of comparing ourselves to others and assuming in the end that it is better to be us than them. We are guilty of it in one way or another. So here's one big thing that we have to understand, especially as Christians, as Christ followers, is that assuming that your value is higher than someone else eventually leads you to treat them, get this, as less valuable. And that right there is how we got, as a country, into the situations that Kevin talked about earlier today, where we felt okay with just driving out the entire Native American population. For centuries this went on. And how we thought it was okay to count a black person as 3/5 of a white person. It's how states in the South justified Jim Crow laws. And it's how gerrymandering of districts that would receive financial aid revolved more around race than it did around economic opportunity. It revolved more around who was there and where the money was than about the people, the value that the people had there. Certainly no individuals can be held personally responsible for the problem of racism in our country, right? But we all need to take personal responsibility for playing a part in treating others as less valuable than ourselves. Even if it's very small ways, because eventually all of those small devaluations add up to this ginormous problem of racism in our society today. Drawing lines and choosing sides. Because you are either on one side or the other, right? You are either saying Black Lives Matter, or you are saying all lives matter, or blue lives matter, or whatever that you disagree with. Guys, there is something more unified and more powerful in the gospel than that. Because what you're saying is if they would just come to my perspective, then they would have it figured out. Or if they would just not do the things they're doing, then they would have it figured out. But that is not what the gospel lays out for us. So that way of thinking, that way of behaving, obviously shouldn't be the case for Christians, right? If you're a believer in Jesus, I believe you are called to be a light in a dark and divided world. You must respond to this societal problem. It can't be ignored. Recently, I was reading, it was actually Crazy Love by Francis Chan. He started to ask himself the question, what if I really believed and obeyed all that Jesus commanded? How would my life look different? So tonight, we're going to look at just 3 short commands that Jesus gave, because Jesus gave them so that we would follow them, right? He didn't just speak them because they sounded good or they were wise words. He gave us commands, and a couple of different theologians list the number of commands that Jesus gave, right? One guy lists 125 specific executable commands Jesus gives us, but then another one, John Piper, takes into account implied commands, and he comes up with over 500 commands that Jesus gives us. Jesus doesn't just give us these commands. There is life, and there is power, and there is freedom in following Christ and living the way that he called us to live. The commands that Jesus spoke are repent, right? Believe in me, listen to me, abide in me, take up your cross, follow me, rejoice, don't be anxious, humble yourselves, right? Just to name a few of these. I'm going to give you 3 that he spoke on that directly relate to this problem in our society today, right? First is Matthew 22, 37 through 40. Jesus gave the great commandment, which is love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. This obviously has direct implications for racism, right? Who is my neighbor? The Pharisees follow up with, who is my neighbor? What does that actually mean? And Jesus gives this parable of the Good Samaritan that is so deeply steeped in racism. And until we look at that passage and fully understand what all is going on there, we see the direct implications that it has. The Samaritans were the lowest of the low. They were ostracized by the Jewish community. Jews wouldn't speak to them. They wouldn't look at them. They wouldn't live in the same area as them. They were segregated, and from the Jewish community, they were oppressed. They did not have the same rights because, get this, their birth generation, their genealogy was contaminated. That's what it boiled down to, all right? That's what it boiled down to. They worshiped the same God, but their genealogy was contaminated. So they were ostracized as a people. Love your neighbor. Who is my neighbor? The Samaritan that is ostracized, that is beat down. The person that comes and loves, whether he is oppressed or he is in a society that oppresses him, or he sees his neighbor that is beaten on the side of the road. That is what being a neighbor looks like. It bridges those divides, it unifies, and it brings healing, and it brings peace. The second one is John 13, verses 34 through 35. Jesus gives a new commandment, that we love one another. It's hard to love other people fully when you assume that they are worth less than you. It's not possible, actually. Third, and this is where we'll spend most of our time tonight, in Matthew 28, 18 through 20, Jesus gives the Great Commission. This is the end of his time on earth. And if you look at that passage, keep in mind the idea that following the commands of Jesus changes the way we live. And that when we change the way we live, we slowly change the world. Not because of anything special that we're doing, but because of Christ working through us. The conversation that we are about to read between Jesus and his disciples is after Jesus was crucified, dead, buried, and risen. These men who had been devoted to following Jesus had been on this crazy emotional roller coaster as the one they had put all their hope and trust in had died. But now he's back. They're pumped, right? They want to know what's next. Let's do this thing, Jesus. Jesus says to them, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. As he begins, Jesus points out the fact that he is the most important thing in the world. He is the central character of all of history. He is what the whole story, the whole Bible is about. Everything is about him and his glory, and in his defeat of sin and death, by his perfect sacrifice on the cross and his resurrection, he elevated himself to the highest seat of authority in all the universe. He is in charge of everything. All authority in heaven and on earth belongs to him. So why is that important? Hang with me here. We got to go back to what we talked about earlier about racism. What is racism about? It's about comparing ourselves to other groups of people and finding ourselves to somehow be more valuable. But look at this. Stay with me. Jesus makes it clear. No one is higher than him. No one is more valuable than him, because his righteousness, his holiness, makes the best that we could do look like filthy rags. There is nothing we could ever do that would impress ourselves in Jesus' eyes, that would make Jesus impressed with us. There's nothing that we could do on our own. The differences then between you and any other person do not matter, because Jesus is all the way up here. He is farther up than that, and we're down here. The differences don't matter. Black, white, rich, poor, male, female, smart, stupid, liberal, conservative, we are all under the authority of Jesus. And his commands are the same to everyone. So as we think about living those out and doing our part to heal racism, understand this: the authority of Jesus makes everyone equal. None of us are more or less deserving of the free gift of grace that only he can offer. We are all just beggars at the Master's table. You don't deserve heaven any more than the person at the Black Lives Matter protest, or the person in the welfare line, or the person that is saying all lives matter, or blue lives matter. No one is above anyone else. We all come from the same place. And that has to lead us to the foot of the cross, because that is the only place where we find grace. So we're sent out under Jesus' authority, right? That's the first thing. We're all equal. But he goes on. In verse 19, he says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." So I love this part, okay? Jesus is telling the men who had followed him, right? These 12 guys, learned from him, became like him, to go and teach others to do the same. As they are to be like Jesus and show others how to be like Jesus, right? Because it's all about him. It's not about us. It's not about how we rank ourselves. It's all about Jesus. So what does Jesus do? He makes that even more clear by telling them that they're supposed to go to all nations. That means all ethnicities, right? This is important because this was a huge deal to those guys. These are Jewish men that would have been born in one place, lived among their own people, died in that place, never would have traveled much, never would have experienced other cultures, never would have, the vast majority of them would have died within a few miles of where they were born. The culture they were born in would be the culture they were exposed to, would be the culture they would die in. Now, they had never even planned on leaving their hometowns, right? And even more than that, we look at what Pastor Kevin talked about this morning, right? This Jewish culture that ranked, it ordered, it said, we are proud, this is the way we live, this is who we are. It was closed off to other cultures. And now Jesus is saying, hey, you Jewish guys who have no idea what other cultures are like, you have never seen a black person, you're really comfortable with your friend group and your type of people, you are sent to go out to all types of people, whether you have anything in common with them or not. To them, to me, that's terrifying. There's nothing comfortable about going into a foreign culture and teaching them about this Jesus that you follow, but here's the truth. The commission of Jesus sends all Christians to all people with the message of the gospel. It does not matter if they look the same as us, if they sound the same as us, if they think Black Lives Matter and you think all lives matter, if you think that the whole thing is just a conspiracy, if you think that none of this is even actually going on. We, as Christ followers, are sent to all people, wherever they land on issues like this. But believe me, there is a more important thing in here as advocates, as Christ followers that we talked about just a second ago. Now, not only is every believer sent to share the gospel, but every believer sent to everyone else in the world, all nations, all ethnicities, including the ones in your classrooms and your communities who seem unreachable. The Great Commission not only equalizes all of humanity under the holiness of Christ, but it also, get this, includes all people in this mission. Nobody is off limits to the gospel. So how then can we make people off limits in our culture, in our social lives, in the way that we live? Who are we to say that we are better, that we don't need to interact with them? That says I don't need to do the things that Christ calls me to do. Jesus adds this little bit that we sometimes tend to glance over. We tend to skip it because it's the hard part of this whole passage. He says that we're to go and make disciples, baptizing them. And then in verse 20, he says that we should teach them to observe all that I have commanded you. This seems pretty simple, but it's hard to do. We don't just tell people about Jesus. We are supposed to teach them how to obey the commands of Jesus. And how are we supposed to teach them to obey his commands to love God, love others, and make disciples if we aren't actually doing those things? The method of Jesus was to model and teach obedience to his commands. We begin by living lives that follow the commands of Jesus, loving all types of people all the time, not allowing the differences to divide us, because we all see that we are equally in need of the Savior. Then, as we lead other people to belief in Jesus, we teach them to follow in his ways also. That is the job of every believer. We are disciples of Jesus. We work to live and obey his commands. We work to make other people be disciples too. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what you believe, or the way that you look or the way other people look. Guys, my heart has broken these last 2 weeks because I have seen not only heartbreak and devastation in the African American community, authentic, deep pain rooted in centuries of oppression and centuries of prejudice. But I have also seen such conflict within the church. Conflict that refuses to follow the things that Jesus actually said. The things that Jesus commanded us to do, to love our neighbors. And not, yes, Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. We need to be advocates for people in our community that are oppressed. Just as Jesus loves all people, but especially the oppressed, especially the people that are broken and beaten down, because those are the least of these that Jesus talked about over and over again. These are the people that when we hear their cry, when we hear a voice that says, I am oppressed, this is injustice, those are the people we should pay the closest attention to. We should listen and we should love as hard and as patiently and as closely as we can. Remember the three things, guys, that I talked about. Racism is evil. The riots are wrong. I'm in no way endorsing destruction of property or violence towards other people. But also remember, we're talking about human beings on each and every level. Don't dehumanize this. Do not make it statistics or movements or political beliefs. Make it about the people that you know, the people that are close to you, the people that are hurting. Love each and every person that you come in contact with, guys. We are actually over time. It's 8:30, but I'm going to go ahead and pray. If you guys will bow your heads with me. Lord, help us to see the world the way that you see it. Help our hearts to break in the ways that you would have them to break, and help us to love the way that you love. Help us to follow you. Above everything else, help us to follow you in all things. Help us to hear your commands, but not just hear them and read over them, but to apply them. That the walls that we put up that keep us separated or give us excuse to not interact or not engage, that you would break those down, and that you would send us to the people in our community that are oppressed, that are not given the same opportunities in life that I have. Thank you for what you have given to me and to all my friends, wherever they're at, whatever they have experienced. God, I pray that you would just be close to each and every one of them. Be close to the people in our community that are hurting. Help us to love as you love. Give us wisdom. We love you, and in Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, so it is 8:31. Here's the situation. If you want to hang out, I can lead a Family Feud game, but it is 8:30, so we're going to turn off the live stream because we want to respect you guys' time on there. So it's been awesome hanging with you guys. We had some awesome hot wings. You guys are awesome. If you want to jump back in and play Family Feud, I'll lead that. I'm going to set producer Andrea free. I'll make that happen. We do need a critical mass, so you can head over to the Zoom room right now, and we'll get that started if we have enough people. Otherwise, stay safe. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care, guys.